are now listening to the Dee Hankins Show. Life, curveballs, home runs, the Dee Hankins Show. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Dee Hankins Show, where we talk about life, help you with your curveballs, and celebrate your home runs. I cannot believe it. We have spent half the year, all right, 27 episodes, like breaking down the 3-bucket philosophy and the core 4, and you have a detailed blueprint of the 3-bucket philosophy diagnostic that is going to help you navigate life's curveballs by sorting out what is in your control, what is not in your control, how you know you're mixing up your buckets, like getting rid of blame, protecting your core 4. Oh man, like I'm so excited. And if you've really dove in and you've been rocking with me and you've been listening, not just hearing, but listening to the things that I've been saying, you have been set up to have a resilient life. And speaking of resilience, that's what today's episode is all about. We hear this word resilience all the time, right? I say it, I've studied it, I've taught it, I teach it now, I wear it on my shirt, right? I teach resilience all the time, but what does it really mean to live a resilient life? And why is it important? Right? Resilience is often mixed up with grit and toughness and keep goingness and don't ever stopness and don't quitness and all that. And I want to drown all that out. So today's episode 28, is all about resilience. Let's get into it. Now, like I said earlier, resilience often gets mixed up with other great words to help you get through life. But what is it really? You see, resilience is actually a system or a set of systems that you have in place that help you when life goes wrong, which my definition is the resilience, the ability to bounce back. Each and every one of us has this resilience within us. It's embedded in us. It's encoded in our DNA. It's a God-given gift that he gave to us for free. And the best way, the best teacher of resilience is nature, right? Nature is the ultimate teacher of resilience. And this is why I say it's God-given and not man-given, because he has given us so many examples out there that we should follow to help us put these systems in place so we can be resilient. Let me give you some examples, all right? First one is obviously your body, okay? When you get sick, there's a cascade of systems that happen to keep you healthy. Your body follows a protocol, okay? When that alarm goes off because you're sick, you're hurt, something like that, a protocol is then put into place and a bunch of systems act on your behalf in order to get you to where you need to go, which is back to some sense of normalcy, right? Your body is like the ultimate example of resilience. I was reading my Bible earlier, and I like to read Proverbs. And one of the Proverbs talks about like ants. It says, ants are creatures of little strength. They have no ranks. They have no like hierarchy, no supervisors, yet they store up provisions during the summer to prepare for winter. They have a system in place that ensures their survival. All right. There's like this lodgepole pine. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but crazy adaptation. All right. So basically their pine cones where their seeds are encoded in this like super thick resin. And in order for those pine cones to open and that resin to melt, there needs to be a forest fire. That blows, like I nerd out on science stuff, but that's crazy, right? Because forest fires usually destroy trees and anything in their way. Well, in order for the lodgepole pine to continue its purpose and keep on living, when a fire happens, that is when their seeds let out to ensure that they continue on, like the next generation continues on. I find that fascinating, right? And then last but not least is birds. Like my daughter's really into birds right now, and I think about migrating birds. I don't know if you ever saw that movie Migration, but it's a great movie. Birds fly thousands of miles through storm, through exhaustion, right, to ensure their preservation of life. Like, that's crazy. They have a system in place. They don't complain about it. They just do it. Everything that survives has a system to move towards its purpose, including you. All resilient things have purpose, okay? So if you're kind of like struggling with purpose and you don't have any systems in place, you're not being resilient. You're really just being a punching bag for life. And I want to change that. I want to help you live a resilient life, and so that you are not just surviving. Like, I know how that feels just to survive, and it sucks. And I just don't believe, my personal belief, my personal opinion, I don't believe that is what our life should be. Struggling, arguing about eggs and milk and fighting over toilet paper and things like that. I just don't think that that's life. We have been given this brain, we have been given this intelligence, we have been given these systems in nature and with our own body to help us realize that, man, if we just focus and do what we should do, that we can live life to the fullest. So where do we start? Your default system is to protect your core four. Right? And to reiterate, your core four is your spiritual, financial, physical, and mental health. When you prioritize these four pillars, in which I believe are the most important pillars of your life, you don't just get better. You automatically build the systems, relationships, and discipline required to live a resilient life. Now, understand, a resilient life doesn't mean a life without trouble. It means you built a life to prepare for the inevitable trouble that's going to come your way. The inevitable curveballs that life is going to throw at you, you have prepared for them. To be honest, I speak at a lot of events, and not many people know what their purpose is, nor are they seeking to find out what their purpose is. And that's fine right now. Just start with your default system, which is to protect your core four. Let's call it the core four protection kit. Through my studies of human behavior and resilience, I have come to find out that purpose often reveals itself through the work of protection. So what do I mean by that? Okay. I've seen people that have been at rock bottom, who've tried every single fix they can think of. And we're talking drugs, alcohol, sex work, gang banging, you name it, okay? Then one day they're invited to like a spiritual retreat and they say, what the heck, I've tried everything else. And that spiritual retreat breathed fresh new life into this person. And now they found purpose rooted in healing and connection, okay? I think it's Greg Laurie. Greg Laurie has a event, I believe at the Angel Stadium every year, okay? And people invite their friends. I know my friend Priscilla, she invited me one time to go with her, and it was just an amazing experience. There's a word spoken, there's music, there's no pressure. But at the end of this event, thousands of people who had no spiritual connection, had no interest or whatever the case may be, are walking down the field to ask for prayer and forgiveness. They're crying, and next thing you know, they're deeply rooted in spiritual health and spiritual healing. As a matter of fact, I have a really good friend named Lucy Liz Baker, and Lucy Liz Baker has such an amazing story. But she is one of those people. She is one of those people who were just spiritually broken. I don't remember how she got into this kind of spiritual realm. What led her to that? I think she was just at this event. She heard a song and it just broke her down. Now her whole life is literally wrapped up into spiritual healing and connection. And when I tell you she went down the rabbit hole, she went down the rabbit hole. We have a podcast episode, and I guarantee you should watch it, okay? So because she started to fix her core pillar of spiritual health, she found her purpose. Now, oftentimes when we hear spiritual, we think about God, we think about religion and things like that. And I'm not necessarily talking about that. What I'm talking about is identity, okay? Now, God is a role in the spiritual health department. But spirituality is simply you. It's your soul, right? Kelly Mason, one of my students in my speaking class, talks about self, soul, and source, right? She calls it this trilogy formula. And it's all you. You are self, you are a soul, you are a source. And each one of those things has a component and a role to play within your spirituality. And so spirituality is really how you treat people. It's how you treat yourself. It's what you know about yourself. It's what you know about. It's the belief in maybe a higher power or something stronger that gives you this sense of purpose or a belief system. Your spiritual, like when I talk about the spiritual core, I'm not just saying go to church. No, I'm not just saying that. Okay, because there's some churches out there that will tear you up spiritually. Okay, I'm talking about a desire to be a better human, and then putting yourself around certain entities or certain people that will allow you to be a better human and learn more about yourself. All right, I talk about debt all the time. When I talk about the financial pillar, how I was in debt, how I was financially illiterate, and I came across Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's purpose is literally wrapped up in financial health and financial literacy to the masses. He is on this mission to save people from drowning in debt. And what happened? How did he get there? Well, he himself was in financial straits. He talks about being bankrupt twice and being stupid with money. He talks about the story about how he started to realize his purpose. Why? Because he wanted to get better financially. And in his protection work of his financial pillar, he found his purpose. And now he's built this financial empire that helps other people, right? And within that empire, maybe you go to one of his events or something and you're like, you know what, dang, I need to fix my finances. And then you go down this route of protection work for your financial pillar. And then you realize, whoa, this has changed my life completely. I want to help other people do it. You know, one of the most, I guess, prevalent ones when we talk about the physical pillar is those who have had like this physical scare, okay, where, you know, they had a diabetes diagnosis or they had a cancer diagnosis and they changed the way they eat, or maybe they were super obese or high cholesterol, they had a heart attack, right? And they decided, you know what, I'm going to do protection work on my physical pillar. And in that, they found medicines and healthy ways of eating and juicing and, you know, you name it, right? And now they found their purpose in helping other people eat better, live better lives, eat clean, work out, do these things. And so they spent their life and their dedication helping other people get physically well, okay? Man, I love the lady who goes, and don't forget the cinnamon, right? Like, I don't really know her story. I'm gonna tag her in this or somebody tag her in this and watch this. But I'd love to interview her and see where she got her start and where she got this passion for juicing and healthy eating and clean eating, and still kept her personality. But when I watch her videos, I can tell she finds fulfillment. She finds purpose in getting in front of that camera and trying to get you guys to understand the years of life that can be added on, the energy that can be added on from healthy eating, right? And then you have mental health. Now, one of my students in my speaking school, And for those of you who don't know, I have a speaking school. So if you're, shameless plug, if you're an aspiring speaker out there and you want to learn the basics without, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on programs or whatever, dude, join my speaking school on Sunday and I'll get you right. I promise you. I'll figure out what type of speaker you want to be. It's super cheap. It's super affordable. Just holla at me. I'll leave, or shoot me an email. I'll leave my email. All right. But anyway, so one of my students, her name is Nurhan. And Nurhan is all about mental health. Okay. As a matter of fact, she geeks out on just talking about the brain and what it does for you and how you can rewire the brain and all of these things, right? So in class, as we're building her keynote, she's, telling us all of these things that she has learned over the years that she has applied to her own life. And dude, it's crazy to see the things that have changed in her life because she has focused on the mental pillar of her core four. She's had amazing jobs and opportunities, but she's literally obsessed with the mental health part of life. Now she started a business with it, and you can tell that this is her purpose. You can tell that she finds immense amount of joy helping you rewire your brain. So I'm going to shout her out. Nurhan Aura, she's on Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram thing in the link or in the show notes. Reach out to her, man. Follow her. She's absolutely amazing when it comes to the mental health part. Now, these are all personal examples of people that I have seen that may or may not have known what their purpose is, but open their core four protection kit, and within trying to better themselves, whether spiritually, financially, physically, or mentally, they have found their purpose. So again, if you don't know what your purpose is, and you don't know, and you're kind of lost, and you don't know what your talent or whatever your skill is, do the core four protection work, and you'll start to find out what you're good at. So it's time to stop guessing, all right? Ask yourself 3 hard questions today. What am I being resilient for? Who am I being resilient for? What is the purpose of me going to this job that I love or that I don't love? Why? Why do you keep doing these things? What systems do I have in place to ensure I stay on track when a storm inevitably comes? Remember, I always told you, bucket 3 issues is not a question of if, it's a question of when. And then I really want you to sit and ponder, am I just surviving or am I actually living? Like, really think about that, man. Am I really just surviving in life? Am I really just keeping my head above water, or am I actually living? Am I actually building a boat to float on top of the waters? What am I doing? I think about like real quick, because that made me think about my boy Chris. So I got my best friend, one of my best friends, his name is Chris. And he's living. Like, this dude is living life. And I don't want to tell his whole story, but I'm just going to show, like, as his friend, what I saw change, okay? Chris, like, real talk, and he'll probably get mad at me about this, but I'm just being honest. Like, he was struggling for a bit. He was kind of just surviving, man, kind of going through the motions, trying to figure things out, right? Made some mistakes, up and down, changing jobs, like doing all this. He was just kind of out there, right? And then he kind of figured out, like, dude, I want to live. I kind of saw it in his eyes. And I don't know when it happened, but he just had this, like, revelation of, I want to stop surviving and I want to start living. And when he, like, made that click, he landed himself a great job. He has 2 beautiful kids. My nieces are just fantastic individuals, but this dude lives. And I'm not just talking about waking up every morning, doing the same thing. No, this dude, like, he makes sure he's doing things that make him happy. You know what I'm saying? He's going places. He's visiting places. He's eating the food that he loves. He's going on vacation. He's using his money wisely. Like, he's building a life. And you just see this huge difference in him. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it gets cocky and, I want to we got to throw the fade sometimes, but nah, I'm just playing. Like that's my guy. And so I look at him and I go, man, that's a dude who's loving life. And I think that's how, I know that's how we are supposed to live. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see that, I know that it's possible. I know it's possible to live a resilient life and not just survive, not just be, one second away from drowning, one problem away, one storm away from just drowning and giving it all away. So that's what resilience is. Resilience is having systems in place that help you live so that when life happens, you are prepared and you are ready for it. Now, you guys know me. I travel the country installing these systems in schools, organizations, corporations. And if you're listening to this and you're like, yo, I have an office full of, walking zombies, people that are just one storm away from kicking the bucket. And you want to know what it's like for people to come to work with a sense of purpose? Let's make it happen. Visit my website, www.deehankins.com. Click the booking link. Let's set up a discovery call, and we can get your people from being in survival mode to living. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And most of all, don't forget, life throws curveballs, but even curveballs can be hit for a home run.
You owe it to yourself to get it together. Can't control other people, you can't control the weather. Live in the mind choice bucket where you have full control. Stay disciplined to reach your goal. Life will throw curveballs, but you're not just stand strong at the plate and hit a home